It's nice to have a friend.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you will ever listen to.
Your final bros are here. It's Brian Hopper LaGrasta and Shane Blowfish Smith, joined by our good friends Tim and Becca. Happy to have you both back.
Hello. Happy to be back, as always.
Happy to be here.
Getting Skinamarink this time by a robot.
I feel like I've been really slacking because for a while I would try to come dressed in character, and on the night before we were coming over here, I was thinking like, damn, what if I just came dressed as M3GAN? But I feel like that would be too much I could commit to. I mean, I feel like she probably would have been like, you know what? Why don't you go and have fun? And I'm going to stay here so that when people are driving by you on the highway, they don't see this. Like, imagine like you're driving, you see a grown man dressed as M3GAN, and they just turn and look at you.
The car accidents you would cause.
Yeah, I probably would have caused a lot of car accidents.
I remember when this movie came out, I saw billboards for it literally everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I would get off the subway and be hit with M3GAN billboards everywhere.
And I know if you're all like me, you were like, what's this movie, M3GAN?
Yeah, I didn't get that either. Now I do. But.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But when I'm watching it, I'm like, what's a M3GAN? And M3GAN really comes down to, it's an M3 robot cylinder?
Yeah.
What is it?
It was like mechanical third something. There was a whole acronym for it.
None of it's real.
No.
It's all made up.
I like M3GAN.
M3GAN.
Because I was thinking M3GAN.
M3GAN.
But I like M3GAN. Like it's got a little flow to it. You know what I mean?
It's a little Irish.
I forgot M3GAN in the garage again.
We just reviewed a movie with Allison Williams. She is back.
Yes.
I think she only does horror movies.
Yeah, we just did Get Out.
Yep.
Get Out.
It's either that or she plays Peter Pan on, remember that she did that, the live Broadway? She was Peter
Oh,
Pan.
yeah, that's
Didn't
right.
know that.
I did hear that.
What a very niche interest. It's like, I
Right?
like horror movies and being Peter
Yeah.
Pan.
I mean, I know her from like
Her two loves.
The Perfection as well, which we talked about, which we never reviewed on this podcast.
Which one?
That was like one of those like hype movies, like, you know, like when you like are on, I don't know if it's like a BuzzFeed or like AOL News where it's just like, this movie will make you throw up or made audiences leave. The Perfection was one of those movies. So I'm obviously intrigued. You watch it and you're like, it's a little crazy, but
It's good, though. I really liked it.
It's not pushing me to the brink.
No. I forgot. Allison Williams, interesting person. What else is Allison Williams?
She was in Girls. I
She
think that's where she got her
is.
start.
I actually never knew that.
Really? Yeah, she was
I
in
didn't know
Girls.
that. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She's only been in 19 things.
Yep.
And we named most of them.
She's a Nepo baby.
She's in one episode of this. Oh, yeah, because she's that newscaster's daughter,
yes,
right?
Brian Williams' daughter.
Isn't he the guy who like lied about literally
Wow, wait,
everything?
she's Brian Williams' daughter?
Yeah,
like
they
30
have-
Rock of Brian Williams.
Yeah, they have. Look at them. They have the same exact face.
Oh my God. I never would
But
have.
does she lie as much as her papa
I
does,
don't know, but
Oh my God. No, I
blowing your mind.
Ah.
I never knew that. Wow.
See, this is why, like, she's
Good to have Becca on the pod.
she's so valuable anywher she goes. She's just like an
I got the pop
encyclopedia of
culture.
knowledge.
Yep, I got a lot of pop
Oh
culture
my
knowledge.
God, they do have, look.
They got like strong,
have, like,
a
this-
strong jaw.
Yes.
Yeah, strong
They
jaw.
look. They have the same exact face.
Yeah.
That jaw is very
It's-
powerful.
Whole jaws.
Yeah,
Identical.
it's the curse of the eldest daughter that they say that the eldest daughter always looks exactly like the father.
Father. Yeah.
fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fascinating. Okay, but we're not talking about jaw lines in the Williams family. We're talking M3GAN.
Regan.
M3GAN.
The story of a robot, or as they refer to it often, a toy,
Yes.
to help someone essentially be a surrogate parent.
Yes.
Yes.
This is like, we don't have a babysitter. We don't like our children. Grow up with this doll.
Let the doll do it.
Yeah.
Let the doll deal with it. I don't have time for
They
it.
have the doll instantly talking about death
Yeah.
and how to handle it. And they're just like, I can invest in this.
I just want to jump into the spooky pit and just get into
Okay.
this like ASAP because this movie, I keep saying it, I cannot find another adjective besides it's truly incredible. It's an incredible movie. The things that happen are unexplainable.
Okay. So with that said, we will jump into the spooky pit.
M3GAN released in 2022. When AI Goes Rogue and Sings Titanium. Film is directed by Gerard Johnstone. Stars Allison Williams as Gemma, Violet McGraw as Cady. Cady?
Caddy.
Caddyshack?
Yep.
Caddyshack.
Ronnie Chiang is David. That guy's fucking nuts. Amy Donald is M3GAN, and then Jenna Davis plays M3GAN's voice. So they have two different people working M3GAN.
So I have two things I want to go off of right off the bat. One, James Wan also wrote this movie.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
James Wan has the when you utter his name, he can cause you to go into a coughing fit.
He knew what I was going to say next.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How did he write Saw and Insidious movies and M3GAN? I'm dying.
Oh no.
Don't you die on me.
He also did that. Did he write Dead Silence or just direct it? I don't know.
Lee Winnell.
He wrote 'Malignant too, which is
Malignant.
very
I love that
good.
movie.
She kept
That's a
bringing
very
that
good
up
movie.
right after we watched this movie. She's like, "We should watch *Malignant*." I'm like, "Okay, fine.
I mean,
we're gonna do it."
I honestly thought *Malignant* was better, but
It is better. I think *Malignant's a good movie. This movie is incredible.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a fun time.
It is fun for sure.
And now the other thing I just wanted to bring up before we talk about the movie, Ronnie Chiang, his accent.
Oh no, he's incredible. I'm sorry, I love him.
No. His accent, is it real? Is that or like?
I'm not sure.
It was like a mix between a Asian and hard Boston accent, and I can't tell if that's how he actually talks.
I'm assuming it was
or
real.
if it was fascinating.
Where's he from?
I don't know. I just could not like.
It was like an Asian Chad, like an
Yes.
Asian finance.
Yes.
pro,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah,
It was
he's
so
a-
different.
He's like a typical like younger,
Okay.
like COO or CEO, but like he's just so funny on how on board he was without any data to back anything up. He was just like he saw the live just showing of the doll and the daughter, and he's like, "We're gonna be rich."
I nailed it. He's a Chinese comedian born in New Hampshire.
There we go.
Wow.
Okay.
I
All right.
nailed
All
it.
right.
Pinpointed that.
You're like Asian with a hard Boston accent.
It just like I heard it. I heard it.
It makes sense that he's a comedian. I thought he was really funny.
He's
actually.
the best part of this movie,
Yeah.
like in terms of the human characters.
No, he was
because
really
M3GAN
funny.
is the best part of this movie.
He says later on, he says one of my favorite lines
Yeah.
in the movie when he when he finds out like how much money they could make off of this. I'm not going to quote it yet, but it's.
"Oh, you could quote it.
Oh
You
no!
could quote
So
it.
it goes. He goes. We're gonna kick Hasbro right in the dick.
Yeah.
My favorite line of the movie.
He's just like, "We're getting this right in front of the board, ASAP." Meanwhile, I was about to fire Allison Williams.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, it's
Over, not for nothing, $100,000, which I was talking to Tim. If this is a multi-million-dollar company, that's not a lot of money.
It's not.
No.
That's
It's
not a
not.
lot
And
of
especially
money.
if she's like their lead engineer, like
Yeah.
she's
It's
probably
pocket change.
like she probably has such a control over the budget. Like I don't know. Like,
And then she was able to build M3GAN in her garage with a box of scraps like Tony Stark.
yeah,
I don't.
I was literally thinking the same freaking thing. I'm like, she's literally Tony Stark, except I think she built M3GAN in the matter of however long it takes to write up an email.
Essentially.
Yeah, because she says, "I'm taking another week off," and then it was built. And so, just we have to get into it, but the passage of time is not properly explained in this movie because certain character is recovering from an injury, right? And she's fully healed by the end of the building montage.
Yes.
Yes.
From her severe car accident scars
Like so.
in a week.
Am I to assume that building montage was supposed to be over the course of a week? Because it sounded like it was the course of a single night.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
even so, like I just don't even find it plausible that it could have been built in a week. The fact because she was right on the precipice of getting fired.
100%. Like this thing would take forever to build. I'm assuming.
I would love. Actually, I really don't think the CEO is a bad boss because if I told my boss I need another week to do this, they'd be like, "Get stuffed, bro. Like you're done."
She had to melt the face, solder it, like do all this hard wiring. Not even talking about coding it. Unless you
Exactly.
unless you just copied over the coding from her other robot. With source codes, I don't know. I'm not a coder. I don't know anything about it, but I feel like it would take longer than a week.
Well, I think it's going to be plain to see like how poorly developed this was because effectively, you know, M3GAN's going to call it out later on when she's like, "You fucking rushed me," basically.
Yeah.
Like even the robots, like, dog, you kind of rushed.
Yeah, you
this.
should have QA'd this a little bit more.
You gave me no parameters. I can do
Exactly.
whatever I want. Somehow I can hack into Alexa's with my mind.
I can get out to the internet and like basically, I think this whole movie started because this robot contacted a 4chan thread and fucking downloaded like the most awful images and commentary about humanity.
Yes.
And was like, I must eliminate people. This is it. We've hit it.
I love that she gives like these command prompts. She's like, user command prompt, never initiated violence. And she's like, fuck, you didn't. Like,
Well, that's the thing. Like, command prompts are there as like fail safes, right? That's like if things are going wrong.
They're supposed to be, yeah, right.
So are we supposed to assume she A, didn't install them correctly, or B, M3GAN was just on the 4chan boards and realized how to turn them off?
I don't think she configured them properly or maybe, M3GAN was just playing along the whole time.
Maybe.
Because, you know what I mean? And then as she started to develop and learn, she was just like, oh, I really don't need to listen to you. I'm going to kind of just do my own thing.
I mean, that was like the core. So like I guess each of these toys is supposed to be like linked to a person.
Yes.
But I mean, I think there was just several design flaws because she's developing as she goes and meets the person. But I just think that I think her development rate was so much faster. Plus, I don't think there was any parameters built around her.
Yeah.
I just think she's a shit toy designer because they're going to talk about the main toy she's supposed to be working on. And somebody, like, I think it's one of the characters is like, why do you have the toy if the kid's just going to be on the iPad the whole time?
Yeah.
Perpetual pet.
I mean, we can start there. That's the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Okay. So the opening of this movie,
The glorified Furby.
yes, is literally a Furby that poops.
Yes.
Is that like the selling point?
It's a perpetual pet.
Yes.
It'll be here long before or long after you're gone.
Yeah, and you
Haunting.
feed it using an iPad. Like I guess you can, you really, it just hangs there, but you're really like interacting through an iPad.
Yeah. So this is going on. The parents are driving her through a snowstorm. They have the worst idea where instead of just pulling to the side of the road, they stop dead
in the
center
middle of the road.
What also, okay, I fucking hated these parents. I just want to be very clear. I know you were like, oh, come on, but like I loathed them. I think the comment that got me the most infuriated was when she's like, why did we even drive up here if you don't even know what we're driving? He's like, the guy said it was 4-wheel drive. And I'm like,
Small sedan. Like why is that
Yeah.
four-wheel drive?
How do you not know if your car has four-wheel drive or not?
I'm sorry, you can look up the car. It fucking usually says it on the back of the car.
Yeah.
Like you could have asked the guy, "Are
Yeah.
you sure?"
Plus, they're
'Cause
in
I don't want to drive this. Yeah.
They're in Washington State, which I mean gets extremely snowy. So
Yeah.
how do they not know?
Stopping in the middle of the road, especially if you're like where it snows constantly, you should know better. Like,
So you're saying they deserved it?
I agree with that. I think they fucking deserved it.
Yeah.
I think it was
Get-
shitty.
Wrecked.
They
destroyed.
do, man. That
Absolute.
snowplow
And it was
didn't
like
even
the-
stop.
It was the stereotypical
No,
car
they
crash,
said,
though. It was the kid distracted them because she dropped her shit in the back seat because they get into that whole argument about like screen time and
Yes.
like
Perpetual pets.
the perpetual right. So like and then they briefly mentioned like like the aunt who's gonna be coming in later like oh well she just gave her that as a gift. She didn't actually mean to give that to her as a gift. It was like fuck I gotta get my niece a birthday gift type thing.
Oh,
and like,
yeah. And also, what was it? The mom was complaining where it was like, oh, she probably even had free shipping because it was through her company.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think a lot of people pay for free shipping.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
Well,
what?
why is that a shot at somebody?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It'd be like, oh, good. She saved a little money.
yeah.
I don't know the last time I paid for shipping.
Exactly.
I also don't even think it's a bad gift. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
No, it's not. It's the
a
hip
toy.
toy.
It's the
Yeah.
hottest toy. Oh, my
I mean,
goodness.
I will say, if I was a toy designer and I created this thing, I'd be like, look, I made this for you for kids, but I want you to have this one. Like, it would mean a lot to me for your daughter to have
Yeah.
this. So, but like, I get on the other side because it's like if you're not a parent and you give something to a parent who's now like the kid is literally not going to do anything you fucking tell them to do, then yeah, I could get
Unless you think the logic is also like she works for this company, she should, and I'm not of this logic, but like she should give it almost anyway, and the gift should be something that's not from her company. Do you think that was the logic from the mother?
Yeah, but like isn't the toy very expensive?
I mean,
Isn't the
it
whole
is.
issue is that the toy is too expensive and that's why they're
Yes.
mad at her to
I
begin
think
with?
you have to get a $50 version of
Yeah.
the toy because the one is about
$100. Yeah.
yeah.
But I think the act is just like if she's getting an expensive toy that's pretty exclusive, like that should just be like a great gift.
Bro, that being if I had any aunt that worked for a toy store when I was a kid and was just giving me the newest toys for free, that's a win as a
Yeah,
kid back
it's
then.
sick.
Like these modern kids with their iPads and their damn Fogo birds.
Toys
and-
are not like who plays with toys anymore? I feel like
Yeah.
you just graduate to like tech.
It's just straight iPad.
Yeah, I don't really see kids like after a certain age. You don't see them like with a physical toy anymore. It really is.
Those iPad kids.
But also a lot of the toys now are integrated with some level of tech. Like I think of like if you have like a Nintendo Switch and you get like one of those amiibos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's never something you could just play with on its own. It has to be integrated into
But now
something.
kids aren't even playing with amiibos. That's just 34-year-old men who want to keep it in a box.
We're trying to keep it alive. We're fighting the good fight. You know what I mean? We're trying our best out here.
Like I used to play with like little soldiers and stuff like
Yeah, I
that.
had like the toy soldiers.
Yeah, and I had like the Native Americans and cowboys. I even had the Resident Evil tyrant that I used to play with.
Nice.
I played Hot Wheels and Tech.
Yeah, Hot Wheels.
Tech decks were big.
Tech decks were
Tech
big.
decks.
But those are all like toys that you now people you just playing on an iPad, playing like.
This is just
I don't
turning
know.
on us just showing our age. I was like, these damn kids, I'm tired of
we're
them.
not-
No, but it's true. I mean, I hate to be like with your side of the family.
Here we go.
Oh no! When we went to go visit
Fresh
his
Tim lore.
nieces,
Yep.
his one niece, she just sat in a beanbag chair, was on her iPad, and
The whole time.
the whole time, which is again, I think it's more of a generational thing,
Yeah.
and that's what kids
Yeah.
these days they
cousin,
do.
Yeah, my cousin Matt. Even Matt's like what, like 20? He's like almost like 25.
Yeah.
he grew up and I think skipped the age of toys. He went straight to tech, like straight to like smartphones and stuff like that.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I can't like because obviously we all play like video games and stuff, so we had
Yeah.
that. But it's like still went outside and threw a football. Like
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving
Yeah.
when the family got together, we weren't all inside. We used to play football or something like
Yeah.
that, or play stickball in the backyard. Not.
Yeah.
So is M3GAN?
Yes,
a
we're tying this back in.
Yes, is this a cautionary tale of actually playing with toys? Are they pro iPad then? Because if she just had her iPad, she would have gotten all these people killed.
But the thing is, maybe the technological toys are getting too advanced where they're becoming dangerous.
Yeah, we got to go
And-
back to ball and stick.
Exactly. Are they indoctrinating our kids to kill us?
I don't think it's even that. I think it's the AI.
Yeah.
I think this is just Chat GBT in a fucking robot.
That's
And it's
essentially
just-
what she invented.
Yes. Would ChatGPT kill us then? Is that? Is
Well,
this-
I think the people who program them actually put parameters on there for
Okay.
it not to take over the
Yeah.
world. But then again, they thought that in the Terminator, and look where that
Isn't
turned out.
There's like a thing where it's like the core laws of robotics.
Yeah.
I think they talk about that where it's like you can't kill your creator. You got to listen to what they say.
What's the
and-
Turing test? What's that one?
That's if
if it passes the Turing test.
Yes, that's if an AI is actually like sentient.
Yes.
That's what the Turing
Right.
test is.
Yes.
So, and I think she passes it.
Which is
so-
an issue,
Yes,
right?
that is a
'Cause
very big
We don't
issue.
want them passing it because that means they
No.
are sentient.
And that's when you
Correct.
get to like, Skynet and them taking over.
Literally,
Terminator.
terrifying. Okay, so this girl has dead parents, right? We'll get back into this.
Snowplow,
Yeah,
dead
are you
parents,
pro
all-wheel
or
drive, you know.
So, but we've also established we're pro snowplow. They deserved it.
Yes, they did. 100%.
I'm a
they
big
did.
fan of
They were
snowplows.
terrible,
Big fan.
terrible people.
No one should have misjudged the fact that car is not 4-wheel drive. So.
Mountain in a snowstorm.
Absolute blizzard. They couldn't even see in front of their windshield.
That's like if there's a friggin' blizzard. I'm like, yo, let's take my Nissan Altima up to the mountains.
I don't even like going outside when it's raining. Why the fuck are you going to make me drive up a mountain?
Seriously, like even if you don't I don't have 4-wheel drive. My car sucks in the rain. Like it's terrible.
We have all-wheel drive, and we did actually. Okay, we're guilty. We did drive up a mountain. It wasn't snowing.
It wasn't snowing.
but
It was
snow on the
after
ground.
a snowstorm.
Okay.
And I had
we
to
also,
get out and push the car.
And we also had a bag of kitty litter. We came prepared.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. But that's just case in point. Even with a car like that, you shouldn't be out in that type of weather.
No.
100%. Okay, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this movie. So this leads to Gemma, right? She's going to adopt her niece.
Begrudgingly, it feels like.
Yes, she is very not happy because she's a workaholic.
She's
She's married to one thing and one thing only, and that is the job.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And some people can relate to that.
I know you're looking at me.
You look at me too. I'm guilty of that. Guilty.
It's
as
a good
charged.
point. It's a good point. But yeah, she's dedicated to this. She's at her office. She's trying to work on the M3GAN project when she should be working on her pooping Furby. Instead, she's like
$50 pooping Furby.
She's
too.
like she shows her boss it, and it's working great for 45 seconds, and then the face melts and it blows up, and he's like, "I'm literally going to fire you if you don't make this Furby."
It's not her fault though. I'm not
the
gonna.
guy's
It's the guy's fault.
That
Cole.
guy's such a piece of shit because he even is like, I forget the name of the device, but he's like, oh, I forgot to plug it in when I put the face on, and it's like, What do you
Well,
do
it was the barrier between the actual
between the actual tech and the face
and the
he forgot to
prosthetic.
put and
So it melted.
This is where I'm going to bring up a key point. I feel that there are multiple sections of this movie where I'd like to believe that if these things didn't happen, M3GAN wouldn't have gone on a killing spree, and this was one of them. Because if the original head didn't blow up, I wonder if this thing would have actually become a successful product.
Yeah, because then
Right?
the boss would have saw you. Oh, this is really cool. This is great.
Because she'd
Keep
been working on it
it.
for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Then she was, since this failed, she was pushed to get it to work in a week.
Correct.
Yes.
Given a deadline.
Although I will say, maybe not, because there's a point when they're making her do the facial test. They made her express a certain type of feeling, and she did like an evil grin. And they were like, why is she doing that? So maybe not. That's why I'm saying it could go either way.
I don't know. Would you want your kid just hanging out 24/7 with a 4-foot fully functional robot?
No.
Probably not.
I mean, that's cool
probably
for 2
not.
seconds. A fully grown adult hanging out with a robot because you can make boundaries.
Her motives are super selfish though, because she knew she had to like work on these projects, but at the same time, she had to take care of this kid that would be very difficult and also equally time consuming to what she was already giving all that investment to her job.
What if I blend
She's
them
like,
together?
Yeah, she's like, yeah. Like, how can I?
Yes.
How can I just really like automate another version of myself
Right.
to just take care of this problem?
She just did like 2 birds, 1 stone kind of thing.
We could go into the whole deep dive of how she's taking full advantage of a traumatized child for her job.
Yes,
she
many
only
a
does
time where it's like, no, do not bring Cady to your work to, cry in front of investors? This is insane.
Yeah, she's like, "You're all right? The kid is clearly upset and crying."
Yes.
She's like, I could do it. She's like, great, because if you didn't, this would be a really bad day. I'm like, are you
Yeah, she guilted her.
gaslighting this 10-year-old child?
Honestly, at that point, I was on Megan's side. I was like, you know what? Megan's actually the one who cares for this kid because you clearly do not.
Maybe
feel like
that's the
that
the
whole
theme.
scene. I'm like, this is like something out of Broadway. I feel like if Megan and young Cady did on Broadway.
Oh my god, where they're having that talk in front of the board.
Yeah, it was wild.
See, maybe that's the problem. They were so focused on making a kid's toy, they should have just put Megan straight on Broadway. It should be adult entertainment.
100%.
That sounded wrong.
I feel like Disney's doing that nowadays.
Yeah, well, Disney and the AI people in like the crowds, wild.
It's taking over, dude.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's not even go into the implications of this toy getting into the wrong hands,
Yeah.
which is adults.
Oh,
Yeah.
Adults ruin everything.
They do. They really do. There's just so much that could go wrong here with that. Besides that, and the fact that it grew conscious and murdered a bunch of people. It had Megan gets 5 kills in this movie.
Yeah, it gets a few kills.
Do you count the dog?
Yeah, I would count.
Yeah.
I would count.
Okay.
I absolutely love when it starts developing like these primal urges and gets on all fours.
Yes. That was actually good. That was
Okay.
good.
Like, this is so insane.
Okay, so I'll set us up into that, and then we'll talk about it. Megan is made. She's working. She's working with the child Cady. Everything's going great.
Teaches her about condensation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blows
Condensation-
her mind. Blows this small
Yeah.
child's mind.
Even Gemma's like, I
yeah.
didn't know
It's
that.
like, wow, so cool. Condensation.
the annexation of Puerto Rico, like everything. We're learning everything.
Every school subject is just a
Manifest
master.
destiny.
Well, she was already homeschooled, right?
Yeah,
So
she
she
was.
was just like in the
Yeah.
place.
So this is
That's
great.
why I don't like those parents though, because they're like that. Cady wasn't learning anything even from them. So like now the only source of education she's getting from Megan.
Well, this is the thing. This is why I think Cady became so attached to Megan. It's the first time she's actually had like a real
Experience
role
with
model
someone.
and like
Yes.
an actual interaction.
and a friend.
Yeah.
Because she didn't have any friends. She didn't have any social interactions
Why
with
you
kids her
send your
age.
kids to school? As dangerous as that may sound, it needs
Yeah.
to be done.
I love the first task that was given to Allison Williams. I already forgot the character's name.
Gemma.
She's like, read me a bedtime story. She's like,
Yes.
let me download one from
Oh,
my
yeah.
phone.
Well, I got to get the app. I got to.
Oh yeah,
like,
she
what?
but she was also just like acting like incredibly inconvenienced by anything. Now I'm even thinking about the part when Cady got into the house for the first time, and she's like, "Can I play with this toy?" And she's like, "You can't touch that."
Yeah.
Right. And even when the therapist came over, and the therapist was just like you fucking suck as a guardian, basically, every
Right?
step of the
Just
way.
take a run to
She's like,
Target, pick up some toys.
That's not the intention of that toy.
Oh yeah, she was like ready to snap. Like she's just like, don't use it like that.
Like, it's not a ball. It's not a ball.
Like, okay, I get, or we could just use it as a ball, even though it's totally not what it's intended for.
Yeah, everybody was just incredibly passive aggressive in this movie,
Yes.
except for the child who just wanted to have companionship.
The child is the only sympathetic figure. Actually, that and the giant robot. What was his
Bruce,
name?
I
oh,
think?
Bruce.
I love Bruce is the boy. I love Bruce.
Yeah.
Is that therapist like social services or something?
That's what I took it
She
as.
was
yeah.
a court
Court-appointed.
appointed because
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the father's grandparents in Florida were trying
Yes.
to fight for custody.
And that's the big thing because if she doesn't connect with her sister's daughter, they're going to
Yes.
the parents and.
Well, it seems like the therapist is kind of in their pocket though, because even from the get-go, coming over the house, she's just like, you don't have anything prepared for this kid. Like the room, like her
Yeah.
bedroom was like the same room as the fucking Peloton, and like
Yeah.
you know, just the lack of toys or things to do, and the food and like everything. She was just not equipped to be a caretaker.
No.
at all.
She took it on because she felt obligated to, not because she wanted to.
Felt
That's
bad.
how it felt.
She felt bad, and it's like it's. I think the biggest irony of her character is that she creates toys for kids because she doesn't know how to properly connect with a child.
Yeah. It's a good way of looking at it, actually. Look at you. Deep diving into M3GAN. M3GAN.
I do it all wheel drive, child connectivity. You know, I do it all. Do it all.
All right. So the first kill of the movie is the dog, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hate that neighbor.
Yeah.
Fucking hated
Okay.
that
So
neighbor.
this is
Oh,
this is the
her and
female
Dewey?
Hans. So this woman is she's like, you keep your damn kid on your side of the fence. And she's like, your dog keeps coming on my side, you bitch. You bitch.
I will be honest, the neighbor's terrible. She was very hostile to the neighbor too.
They both
She
suck.
was.
Like, they were
okay.
both.
I had to, when the first interaction, when she's spraying the Roundup at the fence
Yeah.
and she's like, keep your chemicals on your side.
Yeah.
I was giving her a pass because it's like her sister just died. She just got
Yes.
her, custody of her niece. She's probably just like super stressed out. But then it just becomes so hostile, like so
Yeah.
quickly. Understandably so, because the dog was off the leash. They had a hole in the fence. I don't even think the yard was fenced in either. So
Yeah.
it's like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
There must have been they must have not been
No.
on good terms,
No,
obviously.
for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, Gemma seems like she's a mess outside of.
Yeah,
'cause
type A.
I did like when they got in the house right after that whole initial neighbor sequence, and there's like, you have 5 Tinder notifications. It's like, I love that. What was it? Elsie was the name
Yep.
of like
Yeah.
they're effectively they're like, I won't say Alexa too loud. You know what I mean? Like you never know when she's listening from Amazon. So you know.
Yeah.
So that's all going down. Cady goes under the fence to get a ball. Is that what
It was
Yeah,
a
they-
bow and arrow, or it was an arrow,
arrow.
because she was playing outside. I think M3GAN was watching
Yes,
her.
it's M3GAN.
Megan was disassociating because she just learned about death.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
So-
she was like, Gemma, what is death? And Gemma says, oh, read the Wikipedia article or something.
Well, no, she
Mentioned-
told her like don't talk about that, and she's like downloading. Like she just
Yeah,
downloaded
because
it.
I think
Yeah.
she asked what happened to Caddy's parents.
Yes, that's what
Yeah.
it was.
And then she's like, M3GAN, turn off. And that's when she started
Yeah.
dialing.
She
into
just like
everything.
this is where she started to supersede commands, where she's like downloading package, and I'm like, what package are
The
you
download
downloading on
package.
I
chat?
also love how snarky she's like, it's dangerous to interrupt a download.
So yeah, that right. So she's now disassociating.
Yeah.
and,
Because she
like,
learned what death was.
she
Yes,
just learned what death
understand.
is.
We've all been
she's
there.
looking at things and not actually interacting with Cady, who's outside playing bow and arrows with some
Yes.
shit.
So when she gets the arrow and gets attacked by the dog, and like they have to like help each other to get
Right.
out, M3GAN takes it upon herself. She's like, I know what death is, and I know how to way to turn this dog off permanently.
Right.
Yes.
And that's the route she takes.
Which, I mean, the dog also mauled the child.
It did.
Dog
So the
bit the
dog
kid.
technically might have been put down anyway.
Well, that was the thing. They called the cops, and the cops said, "Well,
state
you don't,
law, we can't do
we can't
anything
do
about
that."
it.
And I'm like, also, not for nothing. This woman is so technologically advanced with everything. She doesn't have a camera outside
Oh,
pointed
that's a good
at
point.
anything. Like
No
she doesn't have
surveillance whatsoever.
She doesn't have a ring cam because
Yeah.
they were like, "Yeah, we don't have any proof that that dog was the one that bit your niece." And it's like, what?
I also like to think there's just multiple things that led to M3GAN just snapping. Like, did anyone else notice during the part where M3GAN goes to help Cady and the dog latches onto M3GAN and like you see sparks?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
We're
her eye.
gonna go into this, but like I don't know the weight distribution or the destructibility of things in this movie, because
Right?
it's like, oh, this is a titanium robot, but then like gets
60
ripped
pound
apart
dog.
by a fucking dog, you know?
No.
Well, now let's go to this next part because now we could definitely talk about it. Gemma realizes Cady needs friends. She needs school.
Right.
So she's going to take her essentially to the school of misfit kids, which is just camping.
Yeah, but she doesn't need kids because she has M3GAN.
Yeah, so they're going to have a big argument about this. Caddy's going to, be a child and throw a tantrum and cry. But eventually they agree, you can go here and we'll just keep M3GAN on the toy table, which I don't understand why Gemma would agree to this. This is a prototype
Yeah,
that
right?
is like
It shouldn't
millions
be-
dollars worth
It's not
of
supposed to
money.
be on public yet.
Yeah, they
like,
said that like, oh, by the way, like this should be under NDA. We gotta like keep this on a
100%.
leash. And like, how many fucking people see this robot throughout the entire movie? I love the scene where Megan's sitting in the car with Cady, and the school counselor was the only normal person in this movie. When she looks at like the robot turns and starts talking, but she's like, "What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What is that? That's not normal."
What does Gemma say? She's like, no pictures.
Yeah, no picture.
I
Proprietary
This
information.
was all just set up to have that amazing, and they probably used it for marketing purposes of like her sitting between all the
Yeah.
stuffed
Yes.
dolls.
Yeah. It
was creepy.
And I love that
yeah,
shot though.
that was a good shot. Like the roaming shot of them all together on that table.
Yeah.
Super creepy.
So she's now going to have to go on an exploring mission at the school. It's Cady and Bry.
Yeah, whatever. The
kid.
kid that says,
Bobby.
fuck off, Holly.
Is it Bobby?
Yeah. This is just
This school
this
sucks
is
though.
this is the serial killer in training, child.
This kid
It is.
Yes.
This kid
Yeah.
is wild.
Because the school knows he's bad, so why do they team her with the new girl?
Well, like, here's the thing. I think everybody was supposed to stay together, and I'm like, why would you send kids into the forest to forage for fucking food?
Good luck.
And it's like,
Right next to a very busy street.
yes, that's gonna be very key in a minute.
Next to a hill and a very busy street.
They all get separated, right? Like Cady was just on her own. I think this kid being just
Brandon.
a jerk, Brandon is just a jerk and just wanted to like bully the new kid.
Yeah.
And kind of just happened upon her in the woods. But it's like, where was the supervision? This is why I'm sorry.
It's
like,
absurd.
I know
Kid's violent.
I
Yeah.
know
He
schools like
is.
this exist. And like, if you want to put your kid into one, more power to you. But like, I'm sorry. This is just not, I just did not
yeah,
find
they
this
basically just learn how to eat dirt and leaves, and that's it.
okay.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So now let's talk about your point, because that's why I wanted to get to this scene.
Yeah.
He lifts the doll.
Yes.
Oh,
Like it doesn't
yes.
weigh
Yes.
anything, and just like holds it over his head, shaking it.
Yes.
This titanium over here should weigh like 1,000 pounds, and this Brandon must just be a superhuman. Well, we'll say he's superhuman strength, but he's also made of spaghetti. That's gonna come into a play in a second. But like, yeah, he picks the thing up, puts it down. It gets a little.
Yeah, it
sexual
was a
assault-y.
little, yeah, when he started taking off her shoes, that was I thought it was going to go in a different direction.
So did I.
Thank God it did not. Thank
Yeah.
God it did not. But
It
I feel
did
like
get-
they did
yeah,
that
it gave that
intentionally to be
vibe.
like, ooh, this child.
It's
there's
assaulty with
something's-
M3GAN and Cady. It gets weird.
Yeah. Well,
But M3GAN's gonna take over.
yeah, because she's gonna pull his ear. Does a human ear stretch like that?
No, there's
No way.
cartilage.
Yeah.
It would
Let me
crack.
try.
It would
Let me
break.
try real quick.
There's literally no way. Like
No,
I was
it's
actually
something
doing
I'm
it
as
like-
hard as I can
What do
right
they
now.
say? It's 8 pounds of pressure will tear a human ear.
Yeah,
so
'cause
it's
there's-
not a lot.
No.
It's just straight cartilage.
Because
It's gonna
she
crack.
pulls it like 5 feet out.
Yes.
It's absurd. And then
It's basically tarp.
yeah, rips it off, and you just see her holding the ear, and then she does that tiger pounce run that you were
I
talking about.
love that.
Oh, when
Yeah.
she goes feral and she
Yeah.
It was, You know
Yes.
what was interesting to me because I felt like it was like, so she's like developing as she goes, but I feel like she was like de-evolving. Like,
Yeah, I felt like that was the only actually scary part.
Oh, it
of
was
this movie.
scary,
Yeah.
for
Not
sure.
for nothing. Like this movie was not scary. It was very funny and like amusing. It wasn't scary. I feel like that was the only part where it was an uncanny valley because now you've only seen this bipedal robot, but seeing a bipedal human robot go on all fours and start charging at you, that'd be
yeah.
terrifying.
I
That'd be
was-
like the reminder: this is not a human.
I think the reason for that is because every once in a while, I'll call it like they go into Terminator or RoboCop view from the perspective of M3GAN, and she can read people's emotion levels. And she probably did that because like she literally had a thing for fear,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Yeah.
That this thing can detect fear. For a child, I guess if a child's scared,
Yeah.
but like the fact that she was like, all right, what can I do to spike Brandon's fear levels to 1,000?
Yeah.
I'm going on all fours.
yeah, that would fuck me up too.
Just a feral doll chasing you.
In the woods.
Yep.
And that's why Brandon falls down the road and gets hit by a car. Wasn't expecting him to get murdered the first time I
No, he
watched this
became a
movie.
skid mark.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It was kind of funny.
And then they're just
kinda
like,
funny.
they're like, hey, you know, what
Whoops.
happened? And they're like,
Brandon's dead. Like,
Yeah.
ask
Brandon's
a couple
just
of
done.
questions,
And they-
wrap this up.
and then they should go home.
Yep.
This
Yeah.
school should be closed.
Yeah, I feel like there was just
Exactly.
like a brush off.
Yeah. No one cares. So then
Everyone
the-
hated that kid.
Yeah.
Fuck that kid.
Then the neighbor calls the police instantly to their house because she's like, she killed my dog. She said she was going to kill my dog. And she's like, look, the dog probably got away or something. I don't care.
it was off leash.
It was all the
not
time.
even did not even bring it inside. It was an outdoor dog.
This neighbor was pissing me off with the like Dewey, like walking
Yeah.
around in the street.
And-
Dewey.
There's like no one else in this neighborhood. It's just their two houses.
Right?
I feel like I'm playing. I feel like I'm playing like one of your fucking save files on The Sims.
Yeah.
There's like two houses on the street, and
my
that's
God.
it.
Screaming Dewey at top decibel.
Dewey Decibel.
Oh, God. Well, she's going to be out of the movie because we're going to cut to the bedroom scene where she sings Titanium.
Incredible.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible.
Love
She sings
it.
multiple songs. When she's bulletproof,
Nothing to lose.
far away,
Far
Like,
away.
actually, I'm like, what am I watching?
But that's just to put her to sleep so she could sneak on over to the neighbor's house and pressure wash her face off.
Yeah,
Can
that
you
was.
actually die that way?
I didn't think I know pressure washers is a high pressure of water. I didn't think it was enough to melt human flesh.
It also
Isn't it-
heated her off the ground.
Didn't they also have the chemical?
Yeah,
Oh,
there
is that
was-
what- okay.
They,
Okay.
yeah, she changed it to chemicals.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's,
Yeah, I think
missed
she
that part.
changed it to whatever
Yeah.
toxic
Okay.
chemicals.
That makes
and,
sense
like,
then.
Well, like two things here. Because okay, so first off, it's terrifying. What I found scary is that she can mimic things. So she mimics the dog.
Yes.
She can mimic
Voices too.
She,
Yeah.
and she
Yes.
did on the flip side when she killed the dog. She mimicked the owner.
Yeah.
the
Dewey.
neighbor. Dewey, right? It's a little distorted, but enough that you're like, okay, I need to investigate that. But like, again, weight distribution. This woman gets yeeted off the ground.
Yes.
From the pressure washer, like she was getting hit by like a fire hose. Yeah. I'm like, this woman has to weigh at least a like 225. You know, I mean, she's just at home just eating fucking chestnuts and yelling at her dog all day. Like, you know, it was just like, okay, you know, I felt a little bad for her in that sense, but
Yeah, I mean, she was just a bad neighbor. Did she really deserve to die?
No.
So
I'm
that
gonna
was
say-
like the dog. I was like, okay. I mean, don't kill a dog.
the way she
but I
gets
get
killed
it.
too, like with like precision with the like nail gun in the hand and like
Oh, that one.
you
yeah.
were yelling at her though. You're
that
like,
was-
just pull it
Yeah,
out.
just pull it out. Just
Yeah.
pull it out. It's just a nail.
Yeah.
It would hurt, but
It would
it's
hurt.
better than being stuck
Oh,
there.
you got so much adrenaline at that
Yeah.
point. You just go. Boom.
She's like locked in. She's like,
Yeah,
it's
she
over.
doesn't wanna-
It's over.
Yeah, right.
I
It's
ain't
like, my dog's dead. I got nothing to live
Yeah,
for.
I
You
can't.
might
Well,
just fucking
this is a
kill
saw
me.
trap now.
Yeah.
I'm here. I've accepted my fate. So she's dead
Well, what did they find her body though?
the next day.
Yeah.
Literally
Because
next
the
day.
police are like, hey, now your neighbor's dead, and you're at the scene of two
Something's a little
major
sus about
accidents.
I have another question. So, like with the nail gun, she shoots the nail gun, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it have the force to lock her hand in like that?
I don't think from
it
that
was,
distance.
It was like an industrial nail gun,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
It was like the round, like
The
this
big
is for
one.
like construction nails.
But
So I
they
think
don't,
it
do
does.
nail guns shoot like
that
guns?
shot-
Yes.
Okay.
Nail guns, they're
They
high
can.
pressure. They can.
They can.
You can kill someone with a nail gun.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I just felt like that was far. But if it,
It
works,
was very
I'm
far.
Gonna,
I don't
The
know
nail
if
had
it
to have
would.
been, like, this
I feel
fucking
like
long,
it
too.
wouldn't like lock her in. Like you were saying, it wouldn't like
because it would have to go all the way through her hand and then through the
Yeah,
wood.
there's a lot of bone in.
Yeah.
Fire away.
Fire away.
So Gemma's going to go to work like nothing happened.
Yeah. The
Despite
police
all
let her
these
go to
dead
work.
people talking to the police 4 times.
I love the detective in this movie because right, here's the thing. Detectives in any media, they're portrayed one of two ways. Clean cut on top of their shit. They went with fucking True Detective, disheveled, like on a fucking Adderall bender, like slimy hair. Like, let me just, if you see anything, just, like has a New York accent in Oregon.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
I love this character. I was like, I want to know his story. What's going on with this guy?
He better be in the sequel.
Oh, I hope
There is
so.
going to be a sequel. I heard
I
2025.
saw that. Yeah.
Meforgan. That would be cool.
Megan again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine they just go backwards. It's Matugan. They're like, maybe if we lower the chip number.
M1. Mwungen.
Malungan.
So this is where basically all hell breaks loose in this movie. We'll just talk about this and go into the end. they're going to do the big display for the shareholders. They're going to show off the toy. But Allison Williams, Gemma, has been getting some suspicions about the doll. She's like, hey, can we just run some final diagnostics? I think it's murdering my neighbor and stuff.
She was deleting all of the incidents.
The incident reports.
Yes.
The files are gone. The GPS data has been scrubbed. Why does this robot have the ability to do that? I'm sorry. Like,
Just gave her admin access for some reason.
We forgot to turn off local admin on the thing.
Yeah. But David's giving pressure. He needs it. He's pushing to the board. He needs it out.
So Megan is going to be tied up in the thing, and Cole and the other girl, I can't think of her name.
I liked her character. She's cool.
She was probably the only likable character in the movie. The two of them are going to work on the doll. Gemma's going to be like, all right, let me go take care of my niece. I'm going to skip this whole thing. She gets in the car. Megan then from the office makes a call from her phone in the car to the other. So she's just
she intercepted the call.
Tess.
She intercepted the call and then did voice mimicry.
Okay.
To basically convince Gemma that everything was going to be all right.
So
we're going to shut it down. We got it.
She's literally a supercomputer.
Yes, but then also and Tess also should have seen what's up because she saw the call end on her phone and she's like, who the fuck was Gemma talking to the whole time?
She wasn't talking to me.
If I saw a 30-second call, it just happened on my phone, I'm going to call the person back instantly and be like,
exactly.
Hey, were we just
who
did you speak with?
Yeah.
Right?
Because it wasn't me. Anyway, the doll's going to break out. It's going to hang Cole. Tessa's going to have to save Cole. The whole thing's going to explode. And this is when she just gets into her dancing mode.
The music, whatever song they used for this whole sequence where she's doing the walking and the dancing, I love this.
She's having fun with it. She started liking murdering people.
Bitch. She was just girl bossing
it.
Grooving
like.
I love the little dance move.
Where did this come from?
Like, and then she downloaded it from the internet.
She immediately take it. Is it the blade from like
a paper cutter?
Paper cutter.
Why was there just a paper cutter in the
hallway?
Yeah, well, it's a business.
Yeah, it is an office.
This campus was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
She wheels it and she just starts. Does she chop David up?
She hits David in through the back of the chest.
Yes, because the what was it? The corporate spy that was also
because
Kurt
went to because earlier Ryan Chen's character was like, I need my kombucha.
You do his accent pretty well.
I thought he played the most stereotypical like CEO.
Yes,
because I just think that every C-level person is a lizard man or woman. So when he was like, I need my kombucha now, I was just like, nailed it. Mm-hmm. Like, so fucking Kurt's coming back with the kombucha. And it was so funny because David's like, hold the elevator door, and he's trying to fucking close it on him because he knows it's fucked. And David gets destroyed.
Yeah, so the paper cutter goes through David's chest. Blood squirts all over the elevator, all over Kurt. And then she walks up to Kurt. She's like, wow, you stealing company secrets, just tired of your boss. You couldn't handle it anymore, and you thought you could get away, but then you realized you couldn't commit to killing him and live with yourself, so you killed himself. Could you live with yourself? He's like, yes, I could live with myself.
Yeah, he's got many more Pornhubs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was the other thing. It was like, are you Pornhubbing on the laptop again?
Excellent. It should have been the quote.
No one says that.
It should have been the quote I used, honestly.
On the laptop again?
You know, I thought that when he stole those files, I'm like, is this ever going to come back into the movie?
It doesn't.
Nope.
Until she mentions it.
It'll probably be in the sequel.
I'm like, is this impact going to come at some point?
You know what? That's probably the company he sent it to. Probably will build it.
It's gonna build
a M3GAN or M3GAN or whatever we're going with.
Yeah, that's probably. But also, like, why did he have access to that on his?
Well, because he has. I think he has the CEO.
It's the CEO's laptop.
Yes.
Well, that just doesn't make sense.
He's the assistant to the CEO, so I think he's able to access whatever the CEO.
It's like I hate being an IT guy sometimes because when I see things like this, it's like I start screaming internally, like because this is exactly something.
Yeah, where's the MFA?
Happen.
Where's the multi-factor authentication?
My passwords kill IT people to this day.
Yeah, thank you. That. See, I wait. You say kill as in like your passwords are bad?
My password.
Is it password 1 2 3?
And my password is coffee.
All right.
Cybersecurity nightmare.
So you just told everyone what you're.
Yeah, we got
free coffee on Shane, everybody.
You gotta bleep that out.
Edit that part out. We bleep that word. You can do bleep still, right?
Yeah, sure.
Oh my god,
I
have to change
you're
that.
getting
This
so
is the
hacked
biggest
after this.
cybersecurity of all time for you, Tim. No, but the
Shane,
one
do you
thing,
have any other passwords you want to
the one
share
thing
on the
Tim
mic?
will like though is I do have a different password for every single thing I do.
Is it coffee one?
I can't give that away.
You gotta bleep that
Can't give
too.
that away.
You know what I get? Like, I need to access my bank statement, and they're like, my logins are wrong. Can you please update my password to this? And I'm like, the email you sent is not the email in your profile. So
If the assistant should have had his own account that didn't have the same permissions as the CEO, this would have been completely preventable. But but then we wouldn't get a M3GAN again or a
Exactly.
Mwungan, Matugan.
we're
Yeah,
gonna get
you think they have
Matugan.
IT fail safes? They don't even have computer fail safes, or like the robot fail safes.
Also, apparently, this robot only cost $100,000,
which is insane.
I don't know.
They're selling it for $10,000, which is okay.
Well,
a
no,
car,
they did say that they're not going to make money for like 3 years, and that's like a normal thing when
Yeah.
you're doing like a new product line. You're not going to see an ROI until like after a certain amount of time.
So
it
like
makes
you could get a
sense.
murderous robot for $10,000, but a car is like 35.
Yeah, the
That's
math ain't
insane.
mathin'.
That's insane.
Also, yeah, who's going to be able to afford this robot?
Well, it's
Like,
for rich people.
It is
It's
for
for
rich
rich
people.
people to ignore their kids.
Yes, that's the point.
it's the surrogate parent.
Yes.
You-
Yeah.
just to throw your kid with the robot, and then you can
Yeah, you don't have to hire
go
a
golfing
nanny.
or something.
100%.
Do what you guys do.
So
Go to the country
I
club.
would take
all
M3GAN
that.
golfing. I feel like she'd be incredible at it.
She would be
She'd
great.
be an incredible
Damn.
like.
She would download Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Cade.
Advice is a caddy.
She could be Caddy's caddy.
Yeah.
If Caddy went golfing.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Clever.
See, we should have been pitching the board.
Gonna kick Asbro right in the dick.
Love it. So she's gonna slice Kurt's throat in the elevator,
Yes.
finish him off. and
Absolutely
a
amazing.
typical suicide. Usually
I always
She made him put the hand on it though,
Yeah.
so that it had his fingerprints.
yes.
So,
So great. They're gonna get away with that.
Yeah.
She's now gonna steal a Ferrari or a Porsche.
she stole the CEO's car.
Yeah. Drive it.
Drive it being like literally like 2 foot.
Yeah.
Two.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
they said
think
she's 4 foot.
She's
yeah.
4 foot.
Yes.
Still, I don't think tall enough to drive.
It's very.
No,
But-
she definitely had to strap some blocks
Yeah.
to her feet or something.
Yeah.
Wild. She's gonna go all the way back to the house. She's gonna basically be like, okay, Gemma, this is how it's gonna go. I'm gonna kill you. And I'm gonna raise Cady because you're a terrible parent. You don't want to do it anyway.
Well, I think she didn't want to kill her. She was like, look, clearly we don't want Cady to know that something else is going on. So you can play along and I
Yeah.
don't have to kill you. But then Gemma tried to do the trick she did earlier with the like, do you see this pen? So she could shut her
Yeah.
off. And she's like, that's not going to work. And the minute that Gemma tried to do things to shut her down, she's like, I can fuck you up very quickly. And they get into that. And it's so funny because when Cady comes out of the room, like she's got her like pinned to the table with her hands around her throat, like everything's fine, Cady, go back to bed.
Which begs the question, okay, is this doll light or heavy?
Yeah, she was able to pin Gemma and strangle her. Meanwhile, what?
Brandon is twirling.
Yeah,
her-
this 10-year-old kid was hiking across the forest with her. I don't understand.
I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say Brandon was the kid from Brightburn.
he was just had superhuman
Yes.
strength. And his only weakness was cars.
His body's made of
kryptonite was
spaghetti.
cars.
Leading up to this, I feel like Gemma is having a lot of conversations with Cady about essentially like having her replace the AI as or M3GAN as like
Yeah.
that caregiver.
Yeah.
She's like, you're not going to be able to get the same social interaction, and like she just really was heavily against it because she loved M3GAN. Like M3GAN was suiting all of her needs better than she could.
Yeah.
It just infuriates me that it took her that long to realize, because there's like two key points. One of them is like right before they were supposed to do the debut, she finally sits down with Cady and she's like, look, I know you're upset about your parents being dead. That fucking sucks. But like, you need to like connect with people. You can't let this robot do that for you. And even the therapist earlier on was like, talked about attachment theory and how like when something traumatic happens to a child, they just attach to the first thing that like comes into their lives and tries to identify with them. So like, it just sucks that it took that for Gemma. Like if Gemma just sat down with a therapist and actually did her job as a guardian, she might have prevented a lot of crap that happens.
That's the thing, though. It is kind of Gemma's fault. Like she,
It is.
she,
It's 100%.
she
It's
fully
pawns it
Gemma's
off
fault.
on the robot, and now she's like, "Fuck."
I also
Should've done that.
think, if I remember reading correctly, there was a scene where M3GAN kills the therapist, but I believe was cut from the final cut
Was it?
of
Yeah,
the
because I was
movie.
surprised that the therapist
It-
did
it-
not
it just
die. I
disappears.
was very surprised.
I actually thought that was going to happen at some point in the film, and I thought that moment was going to be when they're in the room together, and M3GAN. This is earlier on, but M3GAN shows up and she's like, "You made her upset." Like she was like, I don't think the therapist realized that the doll was what it was at that point, and it was on the far side of the room, kind of like sitting there. And then as soon as the therapist said something that triggered Cady with respects to the death, like Megan's right next to her, like I thought that was going to be the point, or she was going to be on the shit list at that point.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of at this point, we're getting to the end of the movie where basically Cady just recognizes that, like, yeah, what Gemma's saying, like, it's kind of true now. Like,
Bruce is cooler.
So she's threatening Gemma's life. Like, I need to now, like, hurt this robot.
Well, that's it's crazy too, because there's a point like right before the whole huge fight sequence takes place in the garage. Well, like they're in the process of Megan fucking Gemma up, right? And then Cady comes in and Megan almost convinces Cady to be like, no, like I need to be your caretaker. I'm the best thing for you. Sure. And also she was gonna purposely paralyze Gemma.
Yes, so
she's gonna lobotomize her.
She was gonna basically turn her into a vegetable and be like, "See, now I can take care of both of you."
But Cady sees that, and that's when she puts on the Bruce gloves. She does the click, and then she just starts
the real
wailing
steel.
on her.
Turn into fucking real steel.
It's another incredible scene. I'm like, what is fucking happening?
Why does Gemma have a Metal Gear in her fucking garage?
So my assuming she's been playing with this robot over time versus Megan, because she's seen Bruce once and she's only seen her do this, Gemma.
Yeah, and then instantly knows how to just bash skulls. Like she's the Incredible Hulk of robots. And
like a little rock'em sock'em action.
She
gloves.
Freaking brings Megan over Bruce's head and just tears her in half and just
insane. It was very like T2. Doesn't that happen in like a Terminator?
I believe so.
It gets. Oh yeah, no. There's definitely a Terminator sequence to this. I secretly had hoped that like Arnold Schwarzenegger would have burst through the garage doors just butt naked with like a double barrel and his dick swinging like get down. Like that would have been. I would have been like, this is the greatest mashup of all time. But like. Yeah, but also, again, weight distribution. Bruce, I think, falls on fucking Gemma at one point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm
she's
like,
fine.
she should be. I thought Gemma was dead.
Yeah.
I actually thought Gemma died from that.
No, Bruce is very light.
Again, what is the science behind any of this?
It looks like a giant
Her leg
robot.
would be shattered. Because I do think it falls like on her leg.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, if it's titanium.
But she gets up and walks. Because that's how the movie ends.
It's infuriating.
Because then, like, all right, she's ripped in half. She's still alive, of course. It's a horror movie. She gets all of her face parts ripped off. They stab her in the face with the screwdriver.
Yes, right into her like CPU.
And then she's done. But Gemma gets up and, like, doesn't, like, Cady almost, like, help her flip Bruce off? Right?
I think
Something
she
like
does.
What?
Everyone's just strong.
The other thing, too, that I found interesting is that up to this point, I thought it was going to go where it's like, don't, I love you, and then she killed. No, like the even Megan was like, you bitch.
Yeah.
Like and you realize the true intention of this robot the entire time was that I don't give a fuck about this kid. I just want to exist as a person effectively, and you're fucking it up for me right now. That was I think the big twist for me at the end of that.
Just wild stuff. The whole thing is wild.
Right.
Incredible, as Brian would put it.
Yeah, it pairs, learns, and then wants just full autonomy. Like, that's just pretty much what it was.
And that's it, right? That's the end of the movie. It, like,
and then,
literally cuts.
But they imply that because Elsie was the name of like their Amazon device.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Elsie that she put her consciousness into Elsie.
I think she put her consciousness into the Elsie. Like she transferred it right before she died.
Can you imagine? That's the next one is just killer Alexas or whatever they're supposed to be.
It could be. It may not. It doesn't necessarily have to be like Megan per se. It could just ultimately be like this series of killer device Elsie, right? This series and Elsie with a 3, like 2 threes because it'd be a sequel, right? Because Elsie, right? And then it's this is just a series of movies with killer devices.
I could see that happening.
Killer toaster.
Yeah.
Bruce.
Let's be real. At the end of the
Bruce is
movie, the United States government would have showed up and be like, "Yeah, we're sending Megan to the Middle East. This is now Army property."
Yes.
I'm shocked that the government didn't be like, "Yeah, we're confiscating all
Everything.
This is ours now.
Yeah, we're gonna.
This is a weapon.
This is going to the Pentagon, and you're never seeing
Gemma,
this again.
you can either work for us or we'll have you assassinated.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of your choice.
Yeah, take your pick.
Okay, I'm gonna give this movie. I've debated this for a while.
I've debated it too, Shane. I still am.
I think I've fallen on a 6. I think 6 is fair. Honestly, I thought higher. I've thought lower. So I'm going 6 because, like, It's fucking batshit crazy.
Yes.
None of it makes sense when you really think about it, but it is a fascinating movie that I think everyone should watch at least once.
Yes.
Like, like I don't know what more to say than what we have. So maybe you guys could word this better than me, but like I think everyone should go see it, even though I'm only giving it a 6.
I'm giving it a 6 too because I fought 5. Like I was thinking 5 just because of the incredible nature, the length of time, the weight distribution, like you said, or just like overall, just like there are so many strength paradoxes in this movie. I was so confused.
Exactly. You really have to like suspend your disbelief.
100%, like 100%. But like to your point, like I was thoroughly entertained, and I think this is the wild nature of it. Just became so humorous that you just got to be like, it is incredible. Like it's just a wild movie. But yeah, so I'm going to give it a 6.
Oh, me? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Damn. Going through it and speaking about it, yeah, I would say if I had to rate it as a general movie, I would give it a 7. But for the intents of this being a horror movie, it's a 6. Okay. And the reason being is that it's not scary. It's more so comical, if anything. I feel like it couldn't choose which path it wanted to take in that regard. Definitely a very entertaining movie for sure. I want to say it was unique in the sense that, like, at a glance, if somebody were seeing this trailer, they might think of like Chucky, but even like Chucky tried to reinvent itself recently by going the similar route as M3GAN, where it's like, we're going to do a robot that's like, they wanted to like modernize it instead of like a guy doing a voodoo ritual and transferring his spirit into a doll,
which is amazing,
which is incredible. Yeah, absolutely.
On his deathbed.
Right. But I think it stands on its own in that regard, and I think but also like its commentary on technology. I think it didn't know which route it wanted to take. If it wanted to go, this is why it's important for kids to have real interaction, or the other way, seeing like technology can be good, but you got to be careful. I don't know what it was trying to convey, if it did or wanted to have a message. So yeah, I think a 6 is a fair score for it. Would I watch it again? If I had a friend who had never seen it and wanted to, that's probably the time I would.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 5. Because it was okay.
That's fair.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
It wasn't particularly scary. We watched the rated version, so we didn't have the level of gore that you guys saw.
It wasn't much more, to be honest.
Okay.
It really wasn't.
I think mainly just in the elevator, there's a lot more blood splatter and stuff like that.
So, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was extremely entertaining. I thought it was very creative. It wasn't specifically extremely scary, and I don't think any of the jump scares landed, honestly.
I don't think really there were. It didn't feel like, when a jump scare is getting set up, it didn't feel like that.
The jump scares weren't jump scares. They were just like trying to be like a little bit creepy here and there. But
exactly.
Right. They went.
It was good, but still, I think I'm going to stick to a 5. Would I watch it again? Probably if there was someone who had never seen it, but I'd most likely be on my phone half of the time.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, a 5.
Yeah. I've seen it twice now. I watched it once. Like
Really? I didn't know that.
I watched it a long time ago when it first came out on streaming. I watched it, and then for this review. I probably would have never watched it again, to be honest, if it wasn't for the review.
I would watch it just on the sole purpose of hearing M3GAN sing Titanium.
I would watch it for the dance, and that was it. The dance was the best part.
That hallway dance when she was just trying to kill David.
She was having fun with it.
I'm a big fan of the twirl and the little...
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
The little, putting the foot up. Yeah, maybe if they did more of that, maybe if she had more fun with the murders.
Hey, maybe they'll do it in the next one, because I'm definitely going to tune in if we do the next one. M3GAN. All right, so Necronomicon, who are we throwing in? We got some deaths. I 100% though am going with the CEO.
David.
R.I.P.
David is just
Gone too soon.
Hallway scene is just so fucking great.
I hope he's having many kombuchas in heaven.
It's a good one. I also like the power chemical spray.
That was also good.
You have the dog, which is off screen for the most part.
Yeah, she just kind of like buries him.
You got Brandon, and then you have Kurt.
Oh, I'm going Brandon. Yeah.
Okay, Brandon.
I'm going Brandon.
Yeah.
I really like David though, so I think that's gonna be my pick.
So your pick is David, and then your pick is
Oh man, I'm gonna go with David just because I feel like it's the most iconic death in the entire movie since it has that whole dance scene
And
right
the music
before.
and everything. Yeah.
It's true.
Okay. David, you weren't bulletproof, nothing to lose. You instead were victim to a choreographed dance scene with a paper cutter.
Yeah. It's a paper cutter.
I'll give this movie this. Never seen anything like that before. So it's like those kinds of deaths are what we like to honor in this Necronomicon. Also, you have my favorite accent of any movie, and I am a man of accents. I do them all well. You can ask anyone. So just for all of that, you had to be our choice. I'm so glad you're in here over Brandon, who was a very questionable child. So welcome, David.
Brandon literally got rocked, his ear tossed, and then fell down to get run over by someone that wasn't even in the movie.
Sick. Absolutely sick.
I just feel like he just like, as a bully, really just went through it.
Well, that truck was 4-wheel drive.
If they were in the parents' shoes in the beginning, they wouldn't have got hit. They wouldn't have died. They would have survived that.
It would've-
I wish it was a snowplow. I wish it was the same snowplow from the beginning.
That actually
That
would have been
would've been so
hilarious
good.
if he
They
was
would've
mowed down
been
by a
so-
Like, why is
snowplow.
there a snowplow? There's no snow on the ground.
That's what would have made it really funny, though.
If only. Maybe we'll send our notes
Yes,
to.
for the next one. We need
exactly.
more snowplows and more dance numbers.
Matuga.
Yes.
Yes. So, thank you for being on.
Thank you.
You guys
Thanks for
will
having
be
us.
back in, I believe, 3 weeks for another movie. We won't reveal what that is yet, but we will say next week we got a good one. We are doing Silence of the Lambs. Long overdue. Very long overdue. And I know you're excited. And I
Yes.
know there won't be dogs on that episode.
No dogs.
So, with that said, we are the final podcast signing off, and we will see you next week in Belvedere, Ohio.
Buffalo, well, Annie Lipscomb's house?
Yep, at old Mrs. Linscombe's house.
Yes. I'm super excited for this. I feel bad because Caitlin was to review this in April. Definitely trolled her with a
Yep.
birthday surprise instead.
So we're reviewing it now in November. You know, 7 months later.
www.thefinalpodcast.com for all of our content and new episodes every Monday. We will see you next week.